Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. We're out back here. Just had a new treasure show up at the farm this morning, and it's a John Deere A. Now, the guy that did this, would call it just a power plant because he took the rear end out from underneath, took the front pedestal out. He was trying to make a WA instead of a WD, and well, anyway, it's one of those things. This was all burned off with a torch. It was all painted like the gas tank. I mean, it was a nice tractor, but the tin's a little rough, and he decided it would be a good one to convert. Not really sure as I would agree, but since it's frigged up to this point, we're going to continue making it a WA, which will entail taking the bull gear out, which, as you can see, is in pretty good shape. I mean, this thing really don't look like it had that much time on it, as far as abuse. But we'll take this stuff all out, put these quill covers back on so that it looks, kind of like it's supposed to be there. And then I got to fabricate a cover that'll probably be flat out of a 1/2-inch piece of plate. And then we're going to have to get that lined up and put a bearing out here for the power takeoff shaft so we can get power takeoff out the back. And probably, if we do what we want with it, we'll probably even take out some of the gear train here. Put it upstairs in the barn, just make it lighter to move around. We'll take this here, we'll cut this off and, round it over. We'll kind of convert stuff, make it into kind of how it should look. So if you was going to make a WD, anyway, or a WA rather, the VIN number's missing on this one, but does have a mag, got a generator, carburetors on it, and I don't have a whole lot in it. It's funny though, like I say, this is pretty tight. Wow, that's a lot of crank play, Almost, I bet this close to 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, let's set that right there without it moving there much. Yeah. So, gotta loosen the flywheel, get in there and take up some space. But I'll probably end up pulling it apart before I do anything with it. So today I'm just gonna throw that blue top on it, just to keep the snow and crap. I don't want to ruin this stuff here, because that'll fit my other tractors. Nothing up front you can hurt. So, anyway. Yeah, she's all put to bed for today. We're supposed to get 3 to 4 inches of snow. Maybe 2 to 3, 1 to 3, I don't know. We're supposed to get snow tonight. So anyway, the spring thaw is here. So we'll see you inside. So this generator here that I'm a little perplexed about, I was watching a thing, because, when I'm confused about something, nothing wrong with going on YouTube and seeing what, that Gingell girl has to say, or some other people that pretty reputable, usually what they say is right. So she said that if you had 3 brushes, which these have 3 brushes, it's supposed to have 1 coil. And I'm like, well, I think this is the right one, but so I started doing a little research in my paper, well, in real books, okay? So this is an internally grounded field, I guess they call it. So anyway, I forget exactly how it works, but it makes sense the way they show it. And this particular setup, according to the books, has 2 coils. The old cutouts that the Model A's had, that only had a single cutout, this particular brush, I remember they were adjustable, and I don't think it's this type. I don't know if these ones are actually adjustable, because I think the other ones, I remember there was a slot inside or something where you could move them. Because my father's Model A was like that. If you did a lot of nighttime driving and your amp meter weren't quite keeping up, you could move that third brush one way or the other and it would increase the charge rate. And then when you shut the machine off, or you know, whatever that generator was on, if you shut it off, it would stop drawing and it would just make a neutral switch, like. And yeah, so I do think that even though this has 3 brushes, I think it's got the right one. I went through the trouble. I went out on one of them old junk H's out there and I grabbed the generator off it, 6 volt. It's original stuff. 2 brushes on this side. Now granted, the carbons are wore completely out in it, but the 2 brushes. And this one here, see, this one's got a screw out here. And I'm trying to think there if that's what adjusts one of them brushes or if that's just an attachment point. I don't know if the other one has it or not. But this one also has 2 coils in here. I'm pretty sure, you know, I wouldn't have 2 of them right in a row that are like that. So I think my coil is correct. Or my the regulator. So I think probably it's either a bad ground on the generator itself, which it could be a problem. Because if this stuff grounds, you know, somewheres it's going to complete the ground, which goes through the tractor. Well, this has got paint on here, and it's got rust on here, and, you know, all places it's got paint and rust. After I spun these several times this morning, you know, right where they're at, when I was tightening them, it's working better today than it did before. And that leads me to believe it may be a ground issue. I'll let you know here what I find out. Well, as you can see, that armature is nice and shiny. Took that piece of cedar, ran in there and shined it up while it was idling. It still don't quite keep up with the lights, but it doesn't change now when you go to full throttle. So you still see something happening. Because that gauge ain't no good. You know, you can see it's off at an idle, or when it's off rather. That was like that right out of the box. You know, this is typical, you know, probably stuff made in China. But it goes right up. So my charging issues, I guess, were all right there. So I'm going to say this thing is working correctly. I'm going to put the band back on it. I'm probably never going to run the lights. So whether or not it keeps up or not, I don't care. And you know, if you do need to run them for a half hour some night, I'm sure between the generator, you know, and the battery, I'm sure it'll make it that half hour, you know. So I think we're good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Just a dirty, what do they call that? Commutator, maybe? So just dirty, tarnished. Just like this one over here is all blued just from oxidation. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's just all blue. So probably this one here, probably with a set of brushes, probably could be brought right back into business, but I will probably take this one apart, sandblast it, clean it, and paint it up and get it ready for the H later on when I do the H. Because I'm going to do one of those H's. And I will put a generator on it, because I like generators. Anyway, I'll bring you back here when we get some other stuff done. And I don't know if I mentioned it in the other videos or not. I found my water leak. The water leak was right here. Yeah, and it's still leaking. So before I get it right full of antifreeze, because it's still, you know, only about so full, but it is above here, I'm going to pull this out and I guess put some sealant to it. I didn't think you had to seal these because they should pinch the bulb on the end. But this one isn't sealing, so I got to get into that a little bit. But I'm getting my problems ironed out a little at a time. So I hate it when you have something like this. You know, this is all run back nice and neat. And I've had it tightened. You can see there where it was tight from here to here. Backside, you can see by the color it's not tightened. So you get to this piece, and you can tell by the way it's hitting that this is not machined square, because it never even crushed half of the never-sees out of the way. So this is a machining issue on this nut. And I haven't really decided what I'm going to do. I think I might put a little bit of Teflon tape to it and try it again. I don't know if I can wob enough on there. We'll try it. The worst part of it is every time you fill it up and, you know, if it still leaks, you got a mess. I hate this crap when it's substandard, you know. If this was made in America 25, 30 years ago, I bet you wouldn't have that problem. And there's no way to change this nut. That's the worst part of it. You know, these things are sealed, so. Well, we got it running now. It's almost getting so we can't hang on to the head right there. Oh, I like it. That neck is warm up here, so that means it's slowly letting some fluid through, which is what I wanted. Got nothing leaking here. We had a leak there earlier. I had to tighten that up. I got almost a turn and a half on it. See how this over here looks. Yeah, I think we're going to overcome it with Teflon. Looks pretty good. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's probably 120 degrees. It's just about getting to where you don't want to hang on to it. So anyway, seems like it's working all right. I like this throttle improvement. Makes it not quite as, a little more sensitive, I guess, because it's not allowing it to go up and down. I like that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do some reading on this, because I've got to set these stops for this touch control. And yeah, I'm going to shut this off, get the door shut. It's cold outside. Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, I like that. Dry on a bone. Yeah, I think I got my water leaks fixed. All this stuff here is when I pulled this out, I thought I was down below the level and it sprayed out here and I made a hell of a mess. But you can see it ran down the way. Of course, I wanted to paint that this afternoon. Now it's got antifreeze all over it. So I'll have to wipe that up good. But anyway, she's coming to it.